We are lonely because we build walls instead of bridges. Carl Jung. Before we begin, here's a small ritual. Write in the comments one word that accurately describes your current state. Sign it, and let's get started. There's a reason why people leave, why they stop replying, why conversations fade, smiles feel emptier, and warmth disappears. And it's not always because they're careless or selfish. Sometimes it's because of what you carry with you. Not because you're unlovable, but because certain traits, the ones you barely notice, quietly push people away. Let's start with ego. Not the healthy kind that helps you stand tall, but the version that takes up too much space. The ego that talks more than it listens, that needs to win every argument, that turns every conversation into a monologue. It looks like strength at first, sharp opinions, boldness, certainty. But in reality, it's suffocating, because eventually, the other person stops feeling heard. They shrink emotionally. They smile less. They share less. And without even realizing it, they start leaving. Not because they want to, but because they have to protect their own voice. Then comes pride. Pride looks like silence when it's time to say, "I'm sorry." It holds back soft words because it fears vulnerability. It turns conflict into a battleground where being right matters more than being close. You may not scream, you may not attack, but when you let pride take over, you keep people at a distance, even when they're standing right next to you. Pride makes love exhausting, because love needs openness, not armor. And then there's indifference, not cruelty, just emotional absence. You don't ask how they're doing. You forget the little things. You're distracted when they speak. You say, "I didn't do anything wrong." But that's the point. You didn't do anything. You didn't lean in. You didn't notice the changes in their tone. You didn't ask what they were afraid to say out loud. That kind of absence doesn't scream. It whispers, slowly eroding trust and connection. Love doesn't survive where one side stops showing up. Let's talk about superiority. When you constantly need to prove you know more, have been through more, feel more, understand more, it creates distance. You turn life into a silent contest. You may not mean to. You may think you're just sharing, but the other person feels small, compared, evaluated. And deep down, nobody wants to love someone who makes them feel less. Manipulation can be subtle, but it leaves deep scars. It's when you make others feel guilty for having needs, when your silence becomes punishment, when your kindness is transactional. It doesn't always look aggressive. Sometimes it hides behind charm. But control, no matter how well disguised, kills love, because love only grows in freedom. And freedom dies the moment fear walks in. These aren't random traits. They're patterns. They're emotional habits that can turn relationships cold without warning. And the most dangerous part, most people won't tell you you're doing it. They'll just withdraw, slowly, quietly, until you're left wondering what happened. That's why this conversation matters. Because if love keeps slipping through your fingers, if connection never seems to last, if people keep drifting, maybe it's time to look at the parts of you that are hard to be close to. It's not about guilt. It's about awareness. Because love isn't just about how deeply you feel it. It's about how safe, seen, and valued the other person feels when they're with you. And if that's missing, no spark, no passion, no chemistry will ever be enough. If certain traits quietly push love away, then others quietly invite it in. Not by force, not by manipulation, but simply by creating a space where connection can breathe. These are the traits that make someone feel safe in your presence. Understood, appreciated, and more alive just by being near you. Start with honesty. Not brutal performative honesty that tries to dominate with truth, but the quiet, grounded kind. The kind where you admit when you're scared, when you don't know the answer, when you made a mistake. That kind of honesty doesn't destroy, it builds trust. People aren't looking for someone who's perfect. They're looking for someone who's real, someone they can believe. And nothing is more believable than a person who's not afraid to show their humanness. Then there's kindness, true kindness, not politeness. Kindness that notices when someone's tired. Kindness that offers a hand without keeping score. It's not loud. In fact, it often goes unnoticed. But it's remembered, because when someone feels safe around you, when they know you won't use their vulnerability against them, they start opening up in ways even they didn't expect. Empathy changes everything. It's the ability to feel with, not just for, to sit with someone in their sadness without rushing to fix it, to celebrate with them without turning the spotlight back onto you. Empathy says, you're not alone. And in a world where most people are used to being misunderstood, that kind of presence is magnetic, it's rare, and deeply healing. Then comes humility. Humility doesn't mean shrinking. It means knowing your worth without needing to prove it. It means listening without interrupting, saying, you're right, without needing to balance it out with your own version. When you're humble, people feel respected, not managed, and respect is the foundation where deep love is built. Don't overlook gratitude, not just saying thank you, but truly feeling it. Gratitude for the way someone listens to you. Gratitude for their time, their presence, even the smallest gestures. When someone feels appreciated, they want to stay. Because everyone wants to matter. And when you make people feel like they do, that's unforgettable. Patience is another kind of strength. Not everything needs a reaction. Not every silence is rejection. Love isn't always loud or immediate. Sometimes it grows slowly, quietly, through consistency, through being there on the boring days, the tired days, the unsure days. Patience isn't just about waiting. It's about how you wait, without resentment, without pressure, just steady presence. Let's talk about self-awareness. It's noticing your own reactions, catching yourself before the sarcasm, realizing when you're projecting your past onto the present. Self-awareness means you're not just running on autopilot. You're choosing how you show up. And that choice, to respond instead of react, is what separates emotional maturity from emotional chaos. Generosity plays a bigger role than people think. Not just financial generosity, emotional generosity. Giving compliments without hesitation, sharing time, offering energy, being willing to love even when it's inconvenient. Not everything should be easy. Real love often requires effort. But when someone sees that you're giving without expectation, it shifts everything. It creates safety. It builds roots. And then, vulnerability, the most terrifying and most powerful trait of all. Vulnerability is saying, I miss you, before they do. It's letting someone see your doubt, your fear, your hope. It's the opposite of control, but it's the doorway to closeness. Because when you stop performing, others can finally see you, the real you. And that's who people fall in love with. These aren't traits you're born with. They're not talents. They're choices, practices, muscles you can grow over time. And when you do, when these traits start to replace the defensive, performative, self-protective ones, everything begins to shift. People don't stay because you're impressive. They stay because you make them feel something rare: peace, warmth, safety, realness. They stay because when they're with you, they feel like they can be more of themselves, not less. And that's what love really needs. Not perfection, just space to be, space to grow, space to breathe. Love doesn't just happen. It's not a lightning strike or a twist of fate. It's something people build, choice by choice, word by word, day by day. And the foundation of that love isn't found in romantic gestures or perfect timing. It's built on who you are when things aren't easy, on the version of yourself that shows up when life gets uncomfortable. People don't fall in love with control. They fall in love with safety. And safety begins with consistency, not perfection, but reliability. Can you be the kind of person who shows up even when it's not convenient? Can you be calm when the other person is scared? Can you be patient when they're unsure? That's what stays in someone's heart. Not what you give them once, but what you keep giving without needing applause. Emotional maturity is one of the strongest signals of someone who is ready for real love. It means knowing that not every conflict needs to escalate, that sometimes the best thing you can do is listen. Not fix, not defend, just listen. Mature love isn't dramatic, it's steady, it's honest, and it's rooted in understanding rather than control. Let's talk about communication. It's more than just talking. It's about the tone you use, the timing, the courage to say hard things gently. Immature communication sounds like blame. You always do this. You never understand. But real connection begins when you switch to language that invites, not accuses. Here's how I feel. This is what I need. When someone hears that, they stop defending. They start listening. Another powerful trait, emotional responsibility. It's understanding that your feelings are yours to manage. You're allowed to feel hurt, angry, afraid, but you don't throw those emotions at other people like weapons. You express them with clarity and care. This is how intimacy deepens, not through emotional outbursts, but through emotional ownership. Boundaries are essential too, not walls. Boundaries. The ability to say, this is what I'm okay with, this is what I'm not. It's a form of self-respect, and it teaches others how to treat you. But more than that, when you hold your own boundaries with kindness and firmness, people trust you. They know where they stand, and love thrives where trust is strong. Let's be clear, none of this means you won't mess up. You will. You'll say the wrong thing. You'll hurt someone you care about. You'll make choices that disappoint even yourself. But what matters is what you do after that. Do you take accountability? Do you try to understand how they feel? Do you work on it? That's the difference between someone who's lovable and someone who's hard to stay with. We often talk about love like it's a feeling. And yes, it begins that way. But feelings fade. What stays is character. The way you treat people, the way you treat yourself, the way you handle pressure, rejection, misunderstanding. That's the real glue of lasting relationships. The world is full of people looking for the perfect partner, but very few are working on becoming the kind of person who creates peace wherever they go. If you become that person, not perfectly, but intentionally, you'll notice something. People won't just like you. They'll feel safe with you, drawn to you, held by your presence, even in silence. Because in the end, it's not about being impressive. It's about being honest. Not about being strong all the time, but being brave enough to be soft, to be present, to be kind when you're tired, to be forgiving when you're hurt. That's real strength. That's real love. And those are the people we never forget. The truth is, the most lovable people aren't the most beautiful, the most successful, or even the most charismatic. They're the ones who've learned how to make others feel seen. The ones who've done the hard, internal work, so that being close to them feels easy. So how do you become that kind of person? First, you stop chasing attention and start offering presence. Attention is temporary. It's applause, likes, moments of admiration. But presence is what people really crave. It's eye contact. It's remembering what someone said last week. It's showing up when there's no spotlight. Presence says, "I'm with you." And that's where love begins to feel safe. Second, you learn how to validate emotions, not dismiss them. So many people, even with good intentions, make others feel small. You're overthinking. That's not a big deal. You're too sensitive. But those phrases build walls. Validating doesn't mean agreeing. It just means saying, "I get why you feel that way." And that one sentence can change everything. Because now, the other person knows they're not crazy, just human. Next, you shift from reacting to responding. Reacting is fast, automatic, defensive. Responding is thoughtful, calm, and grounded. It comes from awareness, not fear. And when you learn to respond instead of react, people start to relax around you. They stop walking on eggshells. They begin to trust. And trust is the quiet thread that ties two people together when the world outside is loud. Another trait that builds deep connection is reliability. Be someone people can count on. Show up when you say you will. Follow through. Keep your word. These things seem small until someone experiences the opposite. Inconsistency erodes security, but consistency, even in little things, builds emotional safety. And safety is where love takes root. Let's talk about openness. Being open doesn't mean you have to tell everyone everything, but it does mean being willing to share the truth of who you are, your story, your struggles, your real self. Openness is the opposite of performance. It invites people to know you, not the version you polished, but the version you live with every day. And when you do that, something beautiful happens. People start opening up in return. Then comes forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's about refusing to carry poison in your own chest. It's about letting go of the need to punish. In relationships, people will hurt you, sometimes without meaning to, sometimes because they don't know better. If you hold on to every offense, every slip, every mistake, love becomes heavy. But when you learn how to forgive wisely, you create space for growth, for redemption, for real intimacy. Self-respect is part of love too. When you respect yourself, you set the standard for how others treat you. You don't chase, you don't beg, you don't stay in places that drain your soul. This isn't pride, it's clarity. People love those who love themselves in a quiet, grounded way. It signals that you are whole, not because someone chose you, but because you already chose yourself. Curiosity is a trait most people overlook. Ask real questions. What was the best part of your day? What's something you've never told anyone? Don't just talk. Explore. Curiosity shows investment. It tells someone, "I care enough to want to understand you deeper." And that alone can build more connection than 1,000 compliments. And finally, be emotionally available. That means letting love in, receiving kindness, accepting care. So many people unconsciously block love because they're scared it won't last. But if you want to be loved, you have to allow yourself to feel it fully, without pretense, without caution. Just let it in. Becoming a lovable person isn't about tricks or strategies. It's about clearing away everything that's been getting in the way: fear, ego, pride, and choosing to show up with clarity, compassion, and courage. It's about becoming the version of yourself that you would want to meet. Loneliness isn't just the absence of people, it's the absence of connection. And connection doesn't come from just being around others. It comes from how you show up, who you are, what you bring into the space. If you want to be truly loved deeply and consistently by real people who stay, then you need to carry the kind of energy that invites love, not just demands it. Here are the most practical, powerful traits and habits that will keep you from ever feeling truly alone and make you the kind of person people naturally want to love. First, be emotionally present. Put down the phone. Make eye contact. Listen with your full body. When someone talks to you, don't just wait for your turn to speak. Listen like you care, because you do. Presence is the rarest gift today. Most people feel invisible. If you can make someone feel seen, really seen, they'll remember you forever. Second, practice active kindness. Not passive, occasional niceness, but conscious, intentional kindness. Say, "Good morning" first. Offer help before someone asks. Give compliments that come from the heart. Smile when it's not expected. These moments may seem small, but they stack up. They form the memory people carry of you. And when those memories are warm, people gravitate towards you naturally. Third, stop trying to impress. Start trying to connect. No one falls in love with your resume. They fall in love with your soul. Don't spend your energy proving your worth. Spend it being real. Share your story, your doubts, your dreams, your weird jokes. Be someone people can relate to. Connection comes from realness, not perfection. Fourth, keep your word. Always. Say less, do more. Don't overpromise. Don't cancel last minute. Don't ghost. People trust actions, not explanations. If you say you'll call, call. If you say you'll be there, be there. This builds your reputation, and more importantly, it builds safety. And where people feel safe, love grows. Fifth, learn how to apologize with strength. Not with shame, not with excuses. Just look someone in the eye and say, "I was wrong. I'm sorry. I'll do better." That simple act can heal what ego destroys. Apology is not weakness. It's a sign of emotional intelligence, and people don't walk away from someone who's willing to grow. Sixth, be consistent in how you treat people. Don't love bomb and then disappear. Don't be warm one day and cold the next. Inconsistency makes others anxious. Be the same version of yourself, especially on the ordinary days. That's how you become reliable. And reliability is one of the most attractive traits on earth. Seventh, keep your heart open, even if it's been hurt. Everyone's been through something. You're not alone in your pain. But if you carry your past like armor, you'll never fully let anyone in. Drop the shield. Love isn't safe, but it's worth the risk. Vulnerability is how hearts meet, and it's how they stay. Eighth, be curious about others. Ask questions, deep ones, personal ones, gentle ones. When someone talks about their past, don't nod and move on. Dive deeper. How did that feel? What did you learn from that? Curiosity shows that you care not just about the surface, but about the whole human standing in front of you. Ninth, take care of yourself. Really take care. Eat well. Sleep enough. Move your body. Talk kindly to yourself. Heal your wounds. No one wants to be a caretaker for someone who refuses to care for themselves. Be your own best friend first. It teaches others how to love you. 10th, know your values and live by them. People trust those who stand for something. If you value honesty, live it. If you value loyalty, prove it. Let your values guide your behavior, even when no one's watching. This is how respect is earned, and respect is the doorway to lasting love. 11th, learn to sit in silence with someone and still feel connected. Love isn't all words. It's comfort in quiet, peace in simply being near each other. When someone can sit beside you, say nothing, and still feel held, that's when you've created something real. 12th, don't seek to be loved more than you seek to love. The most magnetic people aren't the ones begging for affection. They're the ones radiating it. Be that person. Fill the room with love before asking for any. And strangely, love will find you in return. Not because you chased it, but because you became it. In the end, being lovable isn't about changing who you are. It's about returning to who you were before the fear, before the ego, before the wounds. It's about choosing presence over performance, depth over drama, and truth over image. Become the person your younger self needed. Become the friend you always wanted. Become the partner you dream of meeting. And you'll never be truly alone again. We're sure you've discovered plenty of value. So subscribe now and stay connected.